The film look. Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody wants it. He wants it. They bloody want it. Flippin' hell, man. Even this geezer wants it.
No, mate, I'm good, thanks, yeah.
No, you do want it.
I seriously, I'm good.
Listen, pal, you do want it, okay? Everybody wants the film look. Now, sort your life out and make a film using this, okay? And I'm gonna be back, all right? So shut up.
And you probably want it for the same reasons that I want it. The full-bodied colours, the rich contrast and shadows, the texture, the soft, bloomy highlights. Oh, and we haven't even mentioned the grain, the beautiful, crusty, taste the difference antiques roadshow quality grain. But the main reason we want it, yeah, is because it's the opposite to this. And there's nothing wrong with this, you know, it's just not my cup of tea, really. So don't even think about going anywhere, yeah? Because I'm gonna go through my methods for achieving the film look with a digital camera. So what is my method? Well, it's really simple, to be honest. I just use our Filmic Luck Pack, you know? I just slap that on, job done, basically, and then I go home early. Yeah.
Maybe she's all that I need. She's all that I want. Baby, I am who I am.
That isn't entirely true, to be honest. No, my method for achieving the film look doesn't solely rely on just LUTs. No, it involves a camera that came onto the scene way back in 2013 with a bold and some might say audacious statement. To be the world's first pocket-sized cinema camera. And I just want to pause the video right here and say, obviously I'm not saying the only way to achieve the film look is by buying this exact camera. The next two steps will help you achieve the film look anyway, regardless, even if you want to use your own camera, you know, it's all good. And yeah, obviously it wasn't this fucking big because it could actually fit inside your pocket. But only if you had a tiny lens like this old German one from the 1960s. Oh, and you were happy to use about 1 million batteries because they will in fact last no longer than approximately 4.8 minutes. The reason I find myself coming back to this camera after all these years, despite its many drawbacks, is the unique colour space that the Blackmagic OG has to offer. In particular, how it deals with skin tones, with some claiming it produces a look that resembles film. Wait, there's more. Similar to the Arri Alexa. Which, if you're not familiar with this camera, is a pretty big deal considering a shit ton of films were shot using an Arri Alexa. All of which, I might add, have won awards for best cinematography. So effectively, the Blackmagic OG is sort of like a half-decent DiCaprio lookalike. Lenny DiCapso. Yeah, that'll do. I know, another potentially outlandish claim, and maybe that is the case. I mean, I don't know, I've never used an Arri Alexa, so yeah. But what I do know is I like the results this camera serves up, especially the colour rendition and the natural skin tones. I don't know, maybe it's the fact it feels like the image has a matte finish rather than a glossy pin-sharp image you'd usually associate with a modern digital camera. If I'm honest, I can't really explain it. All I know is I bought this camera straight out the gate back in 2013 with the sole purpose of elevating me beyond the humble videographer and into the realms of an Oscar award-winning cinematographer.
Which obviously happens. And I know what you're thinking. If that's the case, then why are you making YouTube videos? Just to stay really humble, to be honest. You know, keep me grounded. Yeah, that's it. Definitely. Now back to this 1960s German lens. What does this dusty old relic have to do with anything?
A lot, to be honest with you, because the Blackmagic OG is just one part of the story in achieving the film look. Do you know what? I think a lot of the times when we try and create that film look, it's always something we only consider doing afterwards in the edit with overlays or LUTs, instead of maybe trying to create something in camera.
Come il cielo pieno di stelle, penso a tante cose belle, come il tramonto in estate, le ore più felici passate.
The aesthetics of an old vintage lens can create these desired imperfections that we crave when we're trying to achieve that filmic look.
Now, I'm not saying you have to use this exact random German lens to create a film aesthetic. There's loads of vintage lenses out there with all their own quirks and imperfections, and because the Blackmagic OG is a Micro Four Thirds mount, there's loads of Tesco value vintage glass out there that you can use to try and recreate film, because
Look, it's just a cold hard fact, all right? Film is just way more sophisticated, way more avant-garde, way more seductive. Like smoking in a European city, it just looks better and way more cool and stuff.
gather round everyone and let's settle in as we embark on the final part of our story, which basically just involves me chucking one of our film like LUTs onto a clip. Oh shit, I've already done that joke and I don't think it was that funny the first time I did it. Plus there's a bit more to it than that. And yeah, I should probably take off these tinted sunglasses, otherwise everything's gonna end up looking like a fucking tangerine fever dream. Right, let's jump in. And I'm just doing this in Premiere Pro, nothing fancy. So let's start here with our log footage, which if you don't know is just a flat color profile that holds more color information and dynamic range than usual footage. Basically just means we have more flexibility when it comes to color grading. So there we have it, log footage, which in its current state is dull, dreary, like a rainy Tuesday morning. But not once we finish with it, because we're aiming for this. That's right, this scene from Fight Club, which you might have guessed already was shot on film. So this is our reference. So my first step is to apply the standard Blackmagic Rec 709 LUT, which transforms our log footage to a more standardized color space, and whatever camera you shoot with will have its own version of Rec 709, as different cameras deal with colors in a different way. Next, I'm going to pull down the exposure ever so slightly so these strip lights above my head aren't completely and utterly, blown out. Obviously, they're still going to be blown out a bit because, well, yeah, they were fucking really bright. I've also added a bit more contrast, but not too much, as our filmic LUT will do a bit of that for us anyway when I slap it on later. Right, now I'm going to add some greens to our shadows, which when we look back at our Fight Club reference, we can see there's definitely some greens going on there. I also want these orange pillars in the background to pop a little bit more, so I've boosted the vibrancy and saturation slightly, and I've also isolated the oranges using the eyedropper in the hue and saturation panel to push the oranges even more in the pillars. At this point, it looks half decent, but I want this to be more stylized, a bit more extreme, more spicy, like Fight Club. Motherfuck! And no prizes for guessing what I'm going to do next. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to use one of our filmic LUTs, and the one I've gone for is called Ultra Clean, and it's one of the looks you get with our filmic LUT pack. Now I've set it to 50% strength-wise because at 100% it's just way too much, like ordering 4 naan for yourself at an Indian restaurant. It's just insane. So yeah, 50% is the perfect amount for this shot. And there we have it, my method for getting that film look on a digital camera. Oh yeah, I seem to have completely forgot about this random bloke. So, how did you get on making a film shot on real, actual film?
You want to know how it went? Mate, I'll tell you how it went. It was obviously, as expected, a massive fucking hassle for something that I didn't even want to do in the first place. I mean, I tried, and then as soon as I pressed this little button here, it started making a whirring noise. I tried to open it. It took 20 minutes for me to try and figure it out. And then I opened it up. Hell fucking surprise, mate, it's got no film in it. Obviously, you didn't put any film in it. How am I going to make a film when there's no film in the camera? I didn't ask for any of this. I don't want to make a film, especially not with this. It doesn't even work. And the other thing is, you smash my phone up. Like, you don't know what I've got to do. I've got things going on.
Do you know what? He would give an aspirin a headache. That was exhausting. I mean, you try and help someone out of the goodness of your own heart and they just throw it back in your face. Oh, you didn't put any film in the camera. How can I make a film without film, Or why did you glue all the lens caps onto the lenses? Yeah, so what? Grow up, figure it out, I can't spoon feed you your whole life.